Mr. Beheshti, in Iran, there are freedom-loving people who keep on fighting about their daily lives, and they keep on fighting a brutal regime that keeps on imposing stupid and illogic rules on them. And then there is the regime with its elite forces, ideologues who are being strongly and deeply educated in propaganda and in ideology of the regime, plus some supporters who are being paid for to support. So where are the rifts, the splits, the fights inside of the regime supporters and the regime, and how are the freedom-loving people doing in everyday life? What is the current situation?
So there's a great, big, massive space between them. I can say with confidence, more than 95% of Iranians are radically against the regime. Radically. Maybe 10 years ago, we had some groups of Iranians who they were pro-reform. They thought they might be able somehow reform this evil regime. But at this time, 95% of Iranians are radically against this regime. 5% of Iranians, that's maximum. The elite and the people who get paid are with this regime. The Iranians are fighting against the regime with everything that they have, with their lives. You see their pictures. And they are aware. They are aware. They know what they are fighting for. And they will succeed, definitely. Regardless of whatever. They know why they are going out to the street. And they know why they are sacrificing everything. In beginning of the woman life freedom movement, the propaganda machine of the regime says these kids, 16, 17, 18 years old, they've been brainwashed and they don't know what they are doing. They don't know why they are coming out to the street. But after that, when we were listening to the videos of Sarina, 16 years old, Nika and others, so these people they were so aware, these young, beautiful people. They knew if they go to the street, they might not come back. They knew that. But they went to the street and they fight and they gave their life for it. So this fight between Iranian people for their basic human rights, for their values, for freedom and democracy is ongoing with the regime and the people who are working for the regime. It's ongoing, and every day goes by, it's get more radical and more radical. Another there's a big fight inside of the regime. For example, the people like Mustafa Tajzadeh, who was part of the reform, who was one of the main guy of the regime from the beginning, 1979. The main people of a reform group, reform party, reformist party, they are saying, for example, about the recent election, it says this recent election was the historical defeat for Ali Khamenei and his regime. This regime is rotten. The IRGC is rotten. There's a big conflict inside the regime even. Not just the people against the regime. The big conflict is inside the regime because the people even inside the regime, they realize nothing works in this system anymore. This system only there, it's only there because of the guns that they have and the power of suppression and the brutality that they have. For how long that can work? So any day, any moment, we can witness and experience the collapse of this regime by the great work of the Iranian people. But again, I raise this. This is a great opportunity for Western politicians, leaders, to choose the right side and stand next to the people who are chanting and sacrificing everything that they have for freedom and democracy.
We were talking about politicians. Let's suppose that politicians don't really have the power to do politics. We have to address captains of economy.
Captain?
Of economy.
Yeah.
Of finance. So what would your argument be to convince them to stop investing a lot of money and sending a lot of money to the IRGC, to the regime?
It's very simple. The Iran, this wealthy country, with a normal government, is going to benefit all of us if we look at it. What kind of deal they have at the moment? They can have much, much better deal with a normal government in Iran. Iran is untouched land. None of these big companies there yet. I think it's the only one of the only untouched land yet when it comes to these big companies, because none of them investing there because there is no security, there is no immunity. So the Iran, with the normal government, with the free and democratic government, is going to benefit the Iranians, the people of the region, and the people of the world. So those ones who think dealing with these dictators that they know is better than, this is the reason, is better than the democracy that they don't know, they're making a big mistake. Iran with this, just look at Iran before this chaos, 1979. Of course, maybe the price of the oil, the Shah of Iran says he's not going to sell the oil with a normal price anymore, but that was just one part of it. Dealing with Iran is they can get a great benefit business-wise from dealing with the normal government in Iran. That's how I can put it, even from the business side of it. What they can achieve with this system is finished. In each avenue, they reach dead end. The Islamist government in Iran is finished when it comes to economy, when it comes to social, when it comes to politics, when it comes even to their intelligence. Because of the level of the corruption inside the regime, they cannot carry on for, I found, too long anymore. So they are collapsing from inside. So it's better for our leaders, for our business people, who they thinking only about dealing and business trade, it's better to invest on Iranian people, not this finished government.
So what you claim is, do not base your assumptions that change might happen by trade, but change will happen by confrontation, and new trade will be benefited
Exactly.
from both sides.
Exactly. You cannot change these people with any kind of trade, any kind of negotiation, any kind of diplomatic ways.
So in Germany,
You have to destroy them. That's the only way.
right.
What do you do with the cancer? you destroy the tumor. You don't sit down and talk to the tumor. You go through chemo, you go through surgery or whatever.
We have in Germany, for example, an Iranian company that was once led by um, the current Minister of Finance and Economy in Düsseldorf. What would you recommend German authorities to do with such a company, which is obviously profiting from sanctions because they organize streams of deals behind the scenes?
Unfortunately, many governments, especially German, they are putting morals, stepping on morals principle because of trading with Iran. And unfortunately, in foreign policy, we have this. This is their reason, their excuse for the interest of the country. They are not caring about principles and moral when it comes to foreign policy. Only they think about trading, but at this time, this policy is not working because it's got a backlash and it's coming back to them. Look at the situation in Germany. Look at the spread and the growth of Islamism in Germany. So this is the result of this kind of policy that they have, and allowing these businesses, these charities, so-called charities, these centers to be active and free in our society. This Islamist regime use democracy against democracy, use our values of democracy against our democracy.
As a Muslim, what is your strongest argument against Islamism? How can Western people learn to differentiate, not to discriminate against Muslims because they are Muslims, or against Islam because it is Islam, which is being misused by Islamists who have a political agenda? How can politicians learn? How can everybody learn from a Muslim?
The moment any person, any group, any system who claim, not just Islam, any religion, but now specifically we are now talking about Islam, they are bringing their ideology into their politics, into imposing to others. This is not Islam anymore. This becomes Islamism. So this is against all the values of even Islam. This is the definition of Islam that I believe. So when they start imposing their ideas and bringing their ideas into the street to use against our different people values, different ideas, different ideology, this is the moment that you have to realize now you are dealing with Islamism, not Islam. Islam, you have so many different different definition of Islam. So you have to, our leaders, if they are going to work in that area, they have to talk to the experts in that field regarding of any kind of definition. But as long as any kind of ideology, it's not just about Islam, Christianity, just we have crusade, medieval times. Look what we are gone through. So if we know how to defeat this kind of ideology, which if we know, whenever, that's the moment, whenever we are experiencing this kind of interference, so we know we are facing, as I said, Islamism or any Zim. which it comes with, which are going to impose their own ideology. So they have to talk to the experts in different fields, in different definition of Islam, if they are going to work about that. But as long as people have their own ideology and they don't want to impose that to others or mix that with politics, with ruling one country, one government, there's no harm. You have your ideology, your belief, your religion, whatever it is nobody's business, in the corner of your house. And if that makes you happy, that makes you comfortable, my definition of Islam tells me I have to accept you and love you for who you are. That's it. That's my definition.
Mr. Beheshti, thank you for your very clear statements. I think we have a very rich landscape of things and subjects concerning Iran and concerning the influence of the regime in the West.
And the danger of this, the existential threat of this regime toward our society and our values.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.